record. I always forget to record. Thank you, Ebony, for always reminding me. So yes, so to just recap everything again, we're gonna focus on practice one today. We're gonna do our warm up and we're gonna really focus on multiplying and dividing integers and wrapping up integers in general. We're gonna be talking about fractions and decimals in the week to come, all right? Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to hopefully make my slideshow a little bit bigger. So hopefully you guys can get into Schoology. There's a little gift that's happening there to demonstrate to you how to get into Schoology. When you're also in Zoom, you do have to click the escape button. So hopefully that gift will help you with that. All right, so there's a problem here on the PowerPoint screen that I'm showing you all. So we're going to discuss this problem and see if we can come up with the correct answer. So it says a test has 20 questions. The test awards 3 points if the answer is correct and takes away 1 point if the answer is incorrect. A student answered 5 questions incorrectly. How many points did the student lose? So what was their score? How many points did they lose? If a test has 20 questions and the test awards 3 points if the answer is correct and takes away 1 point if the answer is incorrect, the student answered 5 questions incorrectly, so how many points did the student lose?
Would that be down before, does it?
Why 4?
Because when you look at this, they say 20 questions and the test and the board is, hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah, give me 1 second. Okay, there it is. All right. So I go back to what I was saying. So the test had 20 questions and they said test award that 3 point if the answer was correct. If they take 1 point if the answer is incorrect, the answer only have 5 questions if they got it all correct. So when I look at it, they say you only because like 20 you put 20 divided by 5 and not like 4 times. I mean that is like you.
So it's not 20 divided by 5, right? What is it? If the test awards 3 points if the answer is correct and takes away 1 point if the answer is incorrect, and the student answered 5 questions incorrectly, how many points did the student lose?
That'll be 3 times 15.
Lost 5 points.
You lost 5 points, right?
Right.
You take away 1 point if the answer is incorrect. How many questions did he answer incorrectly?
5.
5. 5 times 1 is how many? 5.
5.
So he's losing 5 points. That's
hey,
it.
Mr. G.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Excuse me, Mr. G.
Yeah.
This is my first day being in your class, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to click on the little agenda thing that you was talking about, like after I had put in the chat box. After I had put in the chat box, and I was trying to get to the assignment that you had put on the board at first. I'm sorry, let me turn my camera on.
Yeah, no problem. So you're trying to get to that assignment. So you're trying to get into Schoology. Do you need me to show you how to get into Schoology?
I already got in Schoology. I just don't know what to click on next.
Okay, so if you go to courses.
All right, give me 1 second. Okay.
All right, and then look for Math 4 with a purple picture, and that should be with me.
All right.
Does it have my name on there?
Courses, and you said go to Math 4 with a purple picture on it.
Yeah.
You got your name under it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And then you want to click on the week 3 folder.
The week 3 folder?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
It's the red folder. Yep. And practice number 1. That's the practice that we're going to look at right after this.
Okay. All right. I got you. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Yeah, so this question, don't overthink it, right? Look at exactly what it's saying to you. There's a lot of information in here that we don't need. I don't need to know that the test has 20 questions, right, to answer this question at all. I don't need to know that at all, but it tells me anyway. So I'm looking at this 20, I'm like, oh, I have to use this 20. Nope, we don't have to use the 20 at all, right? It also says the test awards 3 points if the answer is correct. I don't have to use that 3 at all either, right? This is just useless information. What is important is that I take away 1 point if the answer is incorrect, because it tells me that the student answered 5 questions incorrectly, and it wants me to answer how many points the student lost. So remember that there's always going to be distractions when you have a word problem. Only use the information that is needed. Don't use every number you see just because you see it. Like, well, I got a 20, I got a 3. How do I incorporate the 20 and the 3? Let me do a couple calculations. Let me divide that here. Why? It says you take away 1 point for every question that's incorrect. You answered 5 questions incorrectly. 5 times 1 is 5, right? We just take away 5 points. That's it. So be very careful when looking at word problems and thinking that you have to use every aspect of the word problem. The first thing you should identify is what is important and what is not important in the information that you're looking at for a word problem. All right. We're gonna do a few practices with word problems today. Like I was saying, our practice 1 includes some word problems. So we're gonna review that. And we're also going to do another additional practice that I'm gonna work with you guys today on just focusing on word problems. All right. Let me stop this share and pull up my Schoology. Okay, so I'm in Schoology, Math Skills 4, and Mr. Graciano. Remember, guys, that this is where your link is going to be for class. Okay, I am no longer going to be sending out emails. So to get to class, 9 o'clock every Monday and Wednesday, click on this link. It'll be at the top of your class.
Okay, I got you.
All right. So
I
this
got
is
you.
the link. No more emails, because I'm tired of cluttering up you guys' inbox with the same email.
I got you. I got you.
every Wednesday.
You just trying? No. I get you. You trying to kill one. You trying to kill as many birds as you can with one stone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I come up with the idea.
Yeah. So make sure you guys click on this link. It's always the same link. I've made sure to keep it the same link all the time. I just made it a recurring meeting, so you guys use that link. All right. Okay. So we're in week 3. And we're taking a look at practice number 1, multiplying and dividing integers. All right. So that's what we're looking at. And if you guys open that, we will work on that assignment today. Okay. So I'm going to switch my view so that you can see that practice. All right. So yesterday, not yesterday, because it's been 2 days. I don't know. I get time is all relative, guys.
Let's say the other day.
All I know is that there are 34 days to the election. That's what I'm focused on right now.
Right now,
Okay.
we said the other day, but
So we did this on Monday. We actually went over part A, practice A. We did the first half and the second half. So we're not going to review that again today. You guys can review it or look at the video if you missed class on Monday. I know some of you are only starting today or this week. There is a recording from Monday. It's in the folder under lesson videos. You can watch that recording to help you with that first part of the practice, but I think it's pretty straightforward. What I do want to focus on is some of these word problems, because that's where we had some issues. We'll go over these. We're going to start at number 33. Actually, you know what? No, we're going to start at number 29, because there were also some issues with number 32 that we have to talk about, because there are a lot of people who submitted their work and 32 was wrong. So we have to talk about why 32 is wrong. So we'll start with 29 to get us there, and then we'll go over these word problems. All right. So we're doing division here on number 29, and we have, let me get my pen working. So we have, it says negative 42 divided by 7. What is that answer? Negative 42 divided by 7. Am I going to have a negative answer or a positive answer? And how do I know?
Negative answer.
negative.
It's going to be negative because I have only one
Yeah,
negative number.
right.
So
Because
anytime I divide a negative by a positive or a positive by a negative, my answer is going to be negative.
a
All
negative,
right. What is 42 divided by 7?
-6.
Perfect. So negative 42 divided by 7 is going to give me a positive. It's going to give me a negative 6. Excuse me. Thinking too much in my head. Let me draw this out. All right. So that answer is going to be negative 6. All right. What about this next one? Negative 30 divided by negative 6. I have 2 negatives, so my answer is going to be what?
Positive.
It's going to be positive.
Positive.
Good. It's going to be a positive 5.
Hello, we on 30, right?
Yep, we're on 30. And then 27 divided by 9,
3.
3.
3. Perfect. All right, here's where the mistake was happening. What is 25 divided by 0?
0.
It is not 0.
Not 0.
It is not 0. All right. This is an example of what we call, excuse me, an undefined expression. You cannot divide by 0. Okay? Division by 0 is not allowed. Okay, so the answer for this is undefined. It is no such thing. You cannot divide something by 0. It is not allowed. Okay, that is not how we work with math, and that is not something that is allowed in mathematics. We do not divide by 0. You can divide 0. Your answer would be 0 if you divide something, if you divide 0 by anything, but you cannot divide by 0. Anybody who has a calculator on them, even their phone or anything, put that into your phone, put that into a calculator. Tell me what happens. You are not.
It said error.
Right, it says error, it says undefined, it says can't divide by 0. You cannot divide by 0, okay? So this is what we call an undefined expression. There is no way to divide by 0, right? If it were the other way around, 0 divided by 25, then that would be 0, right? Because you can divide 0 by something, technically, and you will get the answer of 0. But 25 divided by 0, anything divided by 0 is what we call undefined. Okay, just wanted to make sure I made that clear because people definitely did not get that. I got a lot of zeros for people who responded, just so you know that is undefined. All right, let's look at this word problem. It says a scientist is measuring the temperature change in a chemical compound. The temperature dropped 11 degrees Fahrenheit per hour from the original temperature. After 4 hours, the temperature was 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Find the compound's original temperature. All right, so there's a lot here, but what is it asking me to do?
To find the original temperature.
Okay, good. So I have to find the compound's original temperature. All right. What is the compound's current temperature? What is its temperature right now?
44 degrees.
Well, so
I mean,
the temperature right now is 90 degrees, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to find the original temperature. Okay, good. And then, but you mentioned 44 degrees. Where did that 44 come from? How did you find 44? Because I don't see 44 here. Where did 44 come from?
It say the temperature dropped 11 degrees Fahrenheit per hour from the original temperature.
Yep.
And then it says after 4 hours.
Good. All right. So 11 degrees per hour for 4 hours. That means I have to do 11 times 4. What's 11 times 4?
That's 40.
That's
44.
44.
Oh, 44, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. All right. So if my temperature is now 90 degrees and the temperature dropped 11 degrees per hour for 4 hours, what does drop mean? How do I represent a drop?
Negative.
I represent a drop with a negative, right? So it's actually negative 11 times 44, which means this is a negative 44, right? So my temperature has dropped 44 degrees to get to 90. So what was the original temperature? How do I find the original temperature then? What do I have to do to that 90 degrees?
Add it to negative 44.
Add it to negative 44. So it'll be 90 plus negative 44.
Wait.
Okay, no.
Divide 90
Yeah,
by 44.
yeah, exactly. Why would you
So
want?
divide 90 by 44? No,
Yeah.
that's not gonna work
I
either.
don't think you can do that, but
Subtract 44 from 90.
Subtract 44 from 90. So 90 minus 44.
90. Jeez.
Can 90 minus 4? Hold up. I
Well,
can use my calculator. I can use my
Oh, you
calculator.
can't
if
No,
I
you
got it
don't.
right.
Use your original calculator. Use the original calculator.
Oh,
The
come
brain.
on.
Use the brain. Use the original calculator.
wait. 10 plus, but 10 plus 4 is 6, and then 9 plus 8 plus 4, and then before it'd be like 44. Cause then it'll be like 46 or something. Like,
So no. So we're not gonna subtract.
yeah,
We're not gonna do this addition. What we have to think about. So this is great. This is what I love about word problems, right? Because it really shows us how we have to really think and think well. So Vidira, you got this question right. So what did you do?
Mr. G, you are confusing me. Okay, so what I did was how we broke the negative 11 times, times 4.
Yep.
And then I just added the 44 into 90.
So why didn't you say that?
I did say added, and you said,
You said
added, like,
you said add negative 44 to 90.
oh, okay. So I'm sorry. So you add the 90 to 44.
Oh.
See, Mr. G.
See that you see the difference between adding 44 to 90 versus adding negative 44 to 90?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So my temperature has gone down by 44 degrees. That's what this is telling me. My temperature went down to 44 degrees to get to 90. That's how I got to 90. Okay. So what I needed to look at was the fact that I went down 44 degrees. If I went down 44 degrees and got to 90, to get back to the original temperature, I need to add those 44 degrees back to 90. So my original temperature is 134 degrees. I have to go up. If my temperature dropped, which is a negative, it's going down. What's the opposite of a negative? A positive, right? We have to go back up. So if I went down and got to 90, in order to go the reverse way, I have to add. So 90 plus 44 gives me 134 degrees Fahrenheit. That was my original temperature, 134 degrees Fahrenheit. All right. So what you do need to calculate is this 11 times 4 and then add it to the 90. So your equation, if you were to make an equation of what that would look like, it would be 90 plus 11 times 4. That's how you figure that out. Because what's 11 times 4? It's 44. 90 plus 44 is 134.
Hold on. I need to see this.
That's why I messed up in math a lot. I second guess myself a lot, and a lot of times I know the answer.
Yep. But this is a difficult question. To be fair, this is a very difficult question because it's asking you to think backwards, right? It's telling you what happened, but then you have to go in the reverse way, and a lot of people are not used to that. What I saw a lot was people got the 44 and then they subtracted, which is what happens a lot. People do this, the 90 minus the 44, but you're not subtracting. It already dropped, so you need to go back the other way. You need to add 44. All right, let's look at 34. A mountain climber ascends 800 feet. What does it mean to ascend? What is that? Is that up or down? Ascend.
Ascend is going up.
Damn.
Okay, good. Ascends 800 feet per hour from his original position. After 6 hours, his final position is 11,600 feet above sea level. Find the climber's original position. Okay, so he goes up 800 feet per hour from his original position. After 6 hours, his final position is 11,600 feet above sea level. Find the climber's original position. All right, so I'm looking for the original position, right? What's his final position?
11,600 feet.
11,600, okay? And it says that he's going up 800 feet per hour. So what do I need to do?
800 times 6 hours.
Why 800 times 6?
Because he went 800 feet per hour, and
Okay.
after 6 hours.
Yeah, so he traveled good. He traveled for 6 hours, so definitely yes. 800 times 6. What's that going to give me? What's 800 times 6?
4,800.
4,800, very good. All right, so now what do I do with that 4,800? So I know he went up 4,800 feet, right? Because it says he's going up 800 feet per hour. He did it for 6 hours. So I know he went up 4,800 feet. What do I do with that 4,800?
I can tell you what I did.
What'd you do?
I subtracted 11,600 from 4,800.
Yeah, but I'm gonna give you enough.
Okay, so you're saying that you took his final position and subtracted how high he climbed to find his original position. Does that sound right?
Not me gonna.
Does that sound good to everybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Really, I don't know.
That's perfect. That's what you're supposed to do. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know.
11,600 minus 4,800 should give you his original position. So what's his original position then? What's this? 11,600 minus 4,800. What is that?
Wow.
That's 6,800.
Okay.
Oh, 6,800.
All right. So that is correct. That is the way that you need to do it, right? And the way to think about it, if we think about it again, like an equation, right? He started at, his final position was 11,600. So we have to subtract how much he climbed, which is 800 times 6. Okay, so he did do 60. So he started at 6,800 feet.
So, Mr. G, which one of the word problems did I get wrong?
Neither of them. I may have miscalculated. You got them both right, yeah.
Okay.
All right, any questions about either of these word problems?
No.
All right. We're going to keep moving down this document. All right. So with these reading strategies here, I just wanted you guys to be able to understand the importance of words and how they work when you're expressing negative versus positive values. So here, a lot of you were telling me what it means to owe, right? And you're like, oh, owing means that it's negative, and what it means to have, it means it's positive. But we're looking for the opposite, right? So what is the opposite of owing $10? The opposite of owing $10 is having $10, right? So I wanted the whole phrase, right? Having $10, I wanted it written out.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What is the opposite of having $17? It is owing $17. Right?
Why is this problem so backwards?
I was saying the same thing. I'm like, okay.
So,
I've never seen anything like this.
Could you write that for number 1? Couldn't you just write that as a positive 10 and then number 2 as a negative 17?
So I saw that and I saw what you did there. I know that you understood what you were doing, but I wanted the words because of the fact that it was a reading strategy. I did want the actual words having and owing, right? Those words are important to me. not that I was going to count it wrong, right? But I just, the words are important because I wanted us to make sure that we really have that understanding. Because words are important, right? We already saw that how word problems can throw us off if we read it incorrectly. The words are important, right? Part of this and part of passing any math test is being able to read it. Not just having the skill in the math, but being able to read it properly. Because when we read it improperly, we get it wrong, right? So it's part of that. It's part of that skill. You have to have the skill and you have to be able to read it properly. All right, and so I think most people got this next problem done well. It was just making sure that you read it the right way. But David borrowed $4 from his mother each of the last 3 months. How much money does he owe his mother? The money he owes his mother is a negative number. The problem can be pictured on a number line, right? So he borrowed $4 the first month, so he owes her 4. He borrowed another $4 the second month, he still owes her another 4, so that's now 8. And he borrowed another 4, that's negative 12, right? So 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And this was just making sure that you understood how those moves and that jumping was working. Just a visual example of that math. And I think most people got that completely right. So we don't have to necessarily do that. Okay. All right. We're going to work through a few of these just for practice. I want to make sure everybody, understands how the negative and positive numbers are working here with multiplication. We're going to do a few of these. I'm going to assign them out after we do a few together. And we're going to answer those last 2 questions because they were also confusing for people on that last page. Okay. So what's negative 5 times 4?
Negative 20.
Negative 20. 2 times negative 8?
Negative 16.
Good. Negative 1 times negative 1?
1.
1. And negative 6 times 3?
Negative
18.
Perfect. All right. Now's the fun part, assigning them out to folks. All right, so number 5, I'm gonna assign to Denise, number 6 to Ebony, number 7 to Marvin, number 8 to Deontay, number 9 to Delonte. Wow, I actually have a big class today. Where did all y'all come from? Number 10 to Vadera, 11 to Renee, 12 to Lucretia, and 13 to Patricia. All right, so everybody has their numbers. I'm just going to go back in that same order to have you guys tell me the answer. All right, so number 5. What's the answer to number 5?
Negative 21.
Negative 21, perfect. All right, number 6.
Number 6. It'll be positive 32.
Positive 32. Number 7.
Negative 30.
Wait, who was negative 7? Who was number 7?
No.
I thought you said I had number 8.
Okay, so who was 7? And who was 6?
I had 6.
You had 6, Ebony. Oh, okay. I was about to say. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
not my fault, but you couldn't say.
He was moving so fast.
So what's 7, Ebony? She's working. I see her working. She was shimmying her shoulders, so I know she's working.
Negative 30.
Negative 30. Okay, good. All right, now 8.
Oh, positive 81.
Positive 81. Perfect. 9.
Negative 9.
Negative 9. Perfect. 10.
Negative 3.
Negative 3. 11.
Positive 4.
Marvin, you are not 11.
What was one on there?
I assigned them. You already did yours. You did 2 of them now. All right. So I'm sorry, whoever had 11, it's been taken. You can take 16, I guess, because I don't know what the other numbers that were assigned. Number 12. Who was 12?
It's -6.
Okay. And 13, I think, was Patricia, if I'm not mistaken. 18 divided by 6. Let's see, who did we skip? Who did Marvin steal his from? Oh, Renee. Renee,
3.
do you want to do 13?
I ain't realize how they switched up to division.
Yeah, yeah, some of them are division, exactly. Yeah, you got to pay attention.
I didn't realize that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Renee. Did you answer for number 13?
Yes, 3.
3, perfect, okay. Yes, 13 is 3. Very good. All right. You guys seem to be doing well, but are there questions? Okay, no questions. What's 14 then?
-4.
-4.
4. 15?
-5.
-5.
-5. And 16?
4.
4.
4. Perfect. All right. I'm feeling really good. I hope you guys are feeling good too. I feel like you guys are definitely feeling comfortable with these negative numbers. We're going to answer this last page of these word problems, and then we're going to do another activity. All right. So I want you guys, we're supposed to be thinking and discussing, right? So why is the quotient, what is a quotient, by the way? Why is the quotient of -100 divided by -5 the same as the quotient of 100 divided by 5?
Is the quotient like the sum or the answer?
Right, so the quotient is the answer to a division problem, right? That's what the quotient is, right? Quotient is definitely the answer to a division problem. But why are they both the same?
The answer will both be positive.
And they're both positive because why?
A negative divided by a negative is a positive, and it's the positive negative. A positive divided by a positive is still a positive. So
Very good. All right. So when dividing numbers, if they have the same sign, my answer is always positive. Okay. And most of you wrote something similar to that, and that's fine. Like you're like, oh, because it's the same, because like what was just said, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, positive divided by a positive is a positive. So as long as you understand that, that's what I was looking for. But when dividing numbers, if they have the same sign, the answer is positive. So it doesn't matter if they're both negative or both positive, the answer is always positive.
Mr.
All right,
G.
what about this second one? Is 6 divided by -3 the same as -6 divided by 3?
Yeah,
Why?
because one's a positive, one's a negative on both.
Okay, great. So if they don't have the same sign, right, my answer is always negative.
I think I finally will.
All right, so if they do have the same sign, my answer is positive. If they don't have the same sign, the answer is negative. All right, and that's the same for multiplication, right? When multiplying two numbers, if they have the same sign, the answer is positive. If they have different signs, the answer is negative. Okay, so that's the rule for multiplying and dividing, right? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, not as complicated as adding and subtracting, very straightforward with multiplying and dividing. All right, okay, I hope we're all feeling good. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I hope you all are as well. And
It's coming along.
it's coming along, good.
Yes, sir.
It's coming along and it's your first day. So that means that's really good.
Yeah, I hate math too.
No, you do
I
not
do. I
believe
want to know
that.
people
You
that
don't believe
hate
in that
math.
here. No. Nope, nope,
I'm
nope.
trying my best. I just won't give up. That's it. I won't give up.
Good, good. All right, I have a few more things we can work on today. Let's see.
Yeah, it should start at 3 o'clock.
All right, here we go. We're gonna take a look at this at the end. But let me. All right, so we're gonna work with these word problems, and similar to what we did with the word problems on that practice, we're gonna try to write expressions to demonstrate what the question is asking us, right? So before we find the answer, how do we write an expression to help us find the answer, all right? So we're gonna take a look at each of these. We're gonna be multiplying or dividing, and we're gonna be writing an expression. If the pictures of people, including myself or whomever, is in your way and you can't see all of the words, you can minimize them. You know, you can just change, you can move them out of the way. You can just grab it and move it so it's not in your way, just so you know. For those of you who are brand new to Zoom, you can just grab it and move it out of the way. Okay, so the first one says an elevator steadily descends 500 feet in 20 seconds. So how much did the elevator's height change per second? So we need to write an expression. So before we find the answer, what are we going to be doing? What is that question asking us to do? Is it asking us to multiply or divide? And how do we know?
They're asking us to divide.
It's asking us to divide. Okay, and how do you know it's asking us to divide?
Yeah, elevator steadily descends 500 feet in 20 seconds.
What indicated to you division?
Descent.
Descend indicated division? Okay. All right.
I was thinking per second.
Good. Actually, that's what should indicate to division is the per. Right? The descend should indicate to you that it's going down.
Yeah, so that was so that's still
negative.
So it's good. So descending meaning that this is going down. So this 500 feet is negative, but per is what indicates division. So what we're going to do is do negative 500 divided by 20. And we can represent it like that, or we can represent it as a fraction, whatever is easier for you. 500, negative 500 over 20. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and the reason I did it as a fraction is so we can see something that I like to do to make my divisions easier, right? I have what is called, you know, what looks like here a matching zero, right? These zeros match, so I can just get rid of them. So what I really have is negative 50 divided by 2, right? And that makes it easier for me to see that my answer is just going to be half of 50. What's half of 50?
25.
So how much did the elevator's height change per second? It changed
Negative 25.
negative 25 feet per second. Okay, and again, if you want to do it this way, we're doing 20 into 500. How many times does 20 go into 50? It goes in twice to give you 40. You got 10 left over, you bring your 0 down, you have 20 into 100, which is 25. Okay, so either way you're going to get your 25. Let me put my negative in. All right. Just wanted to show it that way. All right, so that elevator's height is changing by 25 feet per second. And it's descending, so that's how we know it's a negative number.
That's a dangerous elevator.
All right, let's try this next one. Number 2, it says 4 hot air balloons descend 296 feet per minute for 7 minutes. Find the total change in altitude for all 4 balloons. This one's a tricky one. Am I multiplying or dividing, and how do I know?
First, you got the pair.
Yeah,
So,
we have a per.
you're going to divide.
We're going to divide.
Hold on. Let's see.
You got descent right there.
What?
I said you got descent right there.
Okay.
So I wonder if we're looking at another negative answer.
Yeah, that's going to be a negative 296.
We're definitely looking at another negative. Very good.
296, negative 296.
We're descending, so it's negative. Good. But are we multiplying or dividing, and how do we know?
Let me see what to change that altitude. I'm gonna say multiply.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say multiply.
Okay.
The word number
Why are you
4.
gonna say multiply?
You still got another number over there, which is 4.
Okay, you have 4. All right.
I'm gonna say. Because when
You
it
got
descend,
4, so you got to do about each balloon.
Okay. Okay.
altitude for 4 balloons, but I want to.
This is a tough one.
I can't just say something without I can't just say it without having backup for it. I gotta be able to say it.
So here's our indication for why we're going to be multiplying, and we're actually not going to be dividing at all, even though we have per over here. We're going to only be multiplying because it wants us to find the total change, right? And for all 4. Okay, so that is why we're indicating only multiplication, right? So it already tells us how much it's going. It's going 296 feet per minute. So it already tells us its speed of descent, right? For the first one, we had to find the speed. This one, we're given the speed, and we're told it's happening for 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
So while it's 296 feet per minute, we don't know how much it has descended yet because we haven't multiplied, right? So we have to multiply this by this, and then it tells us that this is each balloon. So after we get that answer, we still have to multiply again to 4. All right, so we have 2 multiplications.
So the first part is 2,072.
Okay. So that's 296 times 7?
Huh?
So that's, did you do 296?
Yes, 296 times 7, yes.
And you got what?
2,072.
2,072, okay. 296 times 7 is 2,072, and then we have to multiply that by 4.
And that is 8,288.
8,288. All right, so we have our operation that we're doing 296 times 7 times 4. Okay. 296 times 7, and then after you figure that out, you multiply it by 4. Did anybody check to make sure she was right? Or we're just taking her answer? We're just gonna be like, oh yeah, she's right, she's right.
Let me check this.
296 times 7.
Check this.
Is 4. 296 times 7 equals 2,002.
So far, so good.
Yeah, looks good to me.
Mr. G, I have one question.
Yep.
How do you use that pointer pen thing so accurately? Like, I tried, it came out looking like a 2-year-old child was drawing.
Well, first of all, I'm not using it that accurately because I mean, my handwriting is bad, but not this bad. But it just takes a lot of practice. You gotta, just like when you were learning to write, it's like learning to write all over again almost.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, especially because like for mine, like the cursor will disappear sometimes, so that I have no idea where I'm gonna write until I start writing. I'm like, okay, great, that's where it is. All right, looks good to me. Okay, so our answer is the change in altitude. We'll change the altitude, of course, this should be negative, right? Because we're descending. So make sure it's a negative 8,288. Okay. All right, let's try this third one. It says Michaela withdraws $20 on 4 different days during the week. Find the total change in her account balance after the withdrawals.
This would be multiplication.
Good, it's gonna be multiplication. And she's withdrawing, so we know that it's negative.
Negative.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's total, so that's how we know we're doing multiplication. Very good. So our operation, or our expression should really just be negative 20 times 4. So what's that?
Negative 80.
Negative 80.
Yeah, negative 80. My bad, I was yawning.
It's negative 80 there. You have to throw in a nice easy one after the more complex ones, just to make sure you're still with me. All right, so number 4 says Aubrey's monthly bank statement shows a total of $51 in fees for ATM withdrawals. If Aubrey, I should still say Aubrey, made 17 withdrawals, what is Aubrey's charge for each withdrawal? I was trying to make fun of Drake here because that's Drake's real name, y'all. Just so if you didn't know, his name is Aubrey. So he has a total of $51 in fees for ATM withdrawals. And he made 17 withdrawals. What is Aubrey's charge for each withdrawal? So what am I doing? Am I multiplying or dividing?
Divide.
Okay. I'm going to divide because it says
each withdrawal.
Right. So let's just say withdrawals. I should say Aubrey. Mistakes happen. Okay. So $51 of withdrawals, right? So that should be a negative $51. And he made 17 withdrawals, so I could divide 51 by 17. How many times does 17 go into 51?
You said how many times 17 go into 51?
3.
3 times. So
Yep.
he is charged $3
For every withdrawal.
for every withdrawal.
God, that's taxing.
Yeah. So if that's the case, if he's getting charged $3 for every single withdrawal, he needs to be taking out more money at a time.
Yeah, they taxing.
That's too much. That's way too much money per withdrawal.
So hold on. Is that a negative or positive?
It's a positive. It's a positive in the sense that's the charge, right? But what is it going to show up as on his ATM fee? It's going to show up as a negative, right? Because it's coming out of his account, so it is a negative number, right? Because they're taking that $3 out. It's not a positive for him. It's a positive for the bank.
Yeah, I didn't see it when you circled it. My bad.
Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Mr. G, so when doing word problems, I always get confused on trying to figure out what's the operation of the word problem.
Yep.
So in each one of these, like for number 1, you said it was per, which helped you to know that you're supposed to divide, and then in number 4, know that you're supposed to, do an operation. Is there like key words that you can look for in the word problem to let you know what operation to do?
Absolutely, yeah. There are keywords for word problems, and I have a handout for that, and I can upload that to the folder so you guys have that for future use. But yeah, there is definitely a situation where you're supposed to be able to associate the word with the operation. But remember that there are going to be words that mean multiple things, right? So we have to decide. We have to also look at the context as well. But yes, there is in general an idea of when you're supposed to use one word for a certain operation. We all know that total, for instance, would be also meaning addition, right? But in this case, we're not going to add, because if we were to add, we'd be here all day. So we have to multiply, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking for number 2, that it would have been addition when it said total.
Right. But we can't, if we were to add this, we would be adding 296 7 times, right?
Okay.
And if we add 296 7 times, I don't know that you have time for that on the time test, right? So we have to also remember that total, while it means addition, multiplication also means repeated addition, right? So it's associating both of those things, right? Let's remember that while total means addition, multiplication is really just repeated addition. I'm doing addition, but much faster. So that's what we're going to multiply in that case.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Any additional questions or clarifications that anybody needs?
These word problems make my head hurt.
Good. I'm glad. You're supposed to. That means you're working. You didn't come to school just to relax, right?
Math class need to be at 3 in the afternoon.
When I taught high school, I used to teach at 8 o'clock in the morning. I used to teach my hardest class of the day, calculus, at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I would have people dragging their feet to come into my room. And I'd be like, nope, that's right. Let's come on. Let's do it. 8 o'clock, we started bright and early with calculus.
I bet you had a lot of late students to class.
Oh my gosh, all the time. all the time. Until they learned that by being late, they missed the quiz, which gave them extra credit points on their final grade, and didn't start to come early. You gotta switch it up on them. All right, let's see what's next on this. All right, doing the same thing. We're trying to figure out if we're multiplying or dividing, and then try to figure out what expression to solve the problem.
Just like the same thing that we just did?
Yep.
I got you.
So it says Terry descends 110 feet in 10 minutes inside a cave. What is Terry's change in position before descending?
So I'm gonna tell you. So what it sounding like right now, off the bat, it sounds like we're gonna get a negative answer.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. We're definitely descending.
And so, You slow down if I get ahead of myself. All right. I'm gonna listen to the teacher. I think that's it for now.
That's all I got. That's all I have. That's all the information I know. All right. Anybody else? What are we doing? Are we multiplying or dividing? How do we know?
When I start hearing other suggestions, I start having more things to say.
I think change is going to multiply.
Okay.
I think.
We see change and we're thinking we're multiplying. All right. Anybody else?
I was going to say, it's crazy. He said, I was going to say divide. I was.
Okay. Because we see change. All right. Don't worry. There's other people in the room. We'll wait for them too. What do y'all think?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. Okay. All right. That's honest. All right. Anybody else?
I think you gotta multiply.
You gotta multiply. Okay.
It doesn't say before. So.
No, it says before. Okay. This
Before
before is very.
That's a good observation though, because it does say what is Terry's change in position before descending.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, it still could be multiplication though.
You think it's multiplication? So you think what's gonna happen when I multiply?
Oh.
I'm gonna get.
I think, matter of fact, it might be both. That's what it's.
Okay.
I know I'm wrong somewhere not along the line.
I feel like there's some adding in here somewhere.
All right, so let's take a look at both of these answers before we decide which one is right. So if I have 110 times 10, and let's make it negative, right? Negative 110 times 10. What am I going to get?
1100.
Okay. What about if I do negative 110 divided by 10? What do I get?
11.
You get positive 11. Oh no, you don't.
No, it's still negative, but it's negative 11, right? Okay. So which one of these do you think better addresses this answer? What is Terry's change in position before descending? Is it negative 1100 feet or negative 11 feet?
Negative 11 feet.
Negative 11 feet. So in this case, this is a division problem, right?
So I was right.
Yeah, you were right. It's division. But maybe it might be helpful to figure out both ways, right? If you're unsure, maybe look at both ways and then look at whether or not it makes sense, right? Is his change in position going to be 1,100 feet before he starts moving? No, it's not going to be 1,100 feet before he really starts moving. So it's going to be 11 feet, right? So he's going to descend 11 feet per minute, right? That's the idea here. So he's going to be descending 11 feet per minute. That's what we're trying to figure out, and that's that's what's happening. This question is very poorly asked, right? And I hope that this isn't a reflection on something that's going to be on an important exam, but this is directly from an exam that I found online. Somebody actually wrote this question, but this question is very misleading. It's really poorly written. But the idea is that you're supposed to figure out that he's going down 11 feet, right, every minute. Okay, and that's what the answer is going to be. It's going to be a division problem. And the only thing that indicates that is this word change. But what doesn't help is this word before.
Yeah, that before threw me off.
Right? This before really doesn't indicate a lot because I shouldn't be moving at all before I start moving, right? And I think that's where this word is not fair, but it is an 11 feet change in position every minute.
Gotcha.
All right, let's try the second one. The temperature dropped 4 degrees each hour for 5 consecutive hours. There's a word here. Okay, what is the change in temperature after 5 hours? That's what the question is asking you. But before we answer that, what is consecutive?
It seems like
What is consecutive?
Consistently.
Repeating over and over.
Consistent, yeah.
Okay, so consecutive is like one after the other. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the temperature dropped 4 degrees each hour for 5 consecutive hours. And I heard somebody say it's multiplication. Is that what I heard?
Gotta be with consecutive.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the word each helps us to determine that, right? Each hour for 5 consecutive hours means that I'm having something happen, you know,
Constant.
4 times 5, right? So it's dropping, of course, so it's -4 times 5. And so my change in temperature after 5 hours is
-20.
-20. All right, let's try this third one. It says, Paige babysits 3 neighbor children. She gets paid $15 per hour. If she babysits for 4 hours, how much did she earn?
And looking at
By
the
multiplying or dividing?
per is multiplication, ain't it?
Okay, so
I
she
think
gets paid
so.
15 per hour, right? But this
If she
isn't,
babysits for 4
the
hours.
per isn't what's important here because it's just how long she's babysitting, right?
It's multiplication.
Good. It's multiplication because not because of the per, but because of the number of hours she's doing the same thing, right? So $15 per hour, right? You know, if we're getting paid for work that we do, we take our wage, which is our per hour, and we multiply it by the number of hours. So this is just 15 times 4, right? This is our first non-negative example. And she's making how much money in that night?
$60.
$60. That is not enough to babysit 3 children, by the way. Just gonna put that out there. $60 for 3 children? That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
I mean, that doesn't not you have to pay, but and a good thing I'm not a babysitter. They're not gonna not.
Then that must be a relative or something to get that little money.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, the last one on this page says that a glider descends 240 meters in 12 seconds. What is the average change in elevation per second?
So assuming that gonna have to be divided.
Why is that going to be division? Why?
Because it just said glider descent. Only
Okay, well, descend just tells us that it's negative.
Average. The average.
There we go. This average tells us division. Yes. Average indicates division. So we're going to take -240 and divide it by 12. All right, so how many times is 12 going to 240, or in this case, 24? How many times is 12 going to 24?
2 times.
2.
2, and then it goes into 0 times. So my change in elevation per second is -12 meters per second.
Oh, that's what that line means? Per?
Per? Absolutely, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So like I can write $15 per hour. The speed limit is 55 miles per hour. Yes. It means per, it means division, our fraction bar. That slash does a lot of things. All right, feeling good, feeling great, feeling great, feeling good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. G. Is your email in here? Your email address?
My email is just my first name, so Graciano. I can write it in the chat if you need me to. But it's graciano@aohdc.org.
Okay.
It's in the chat as well. All right, so to end, let's make sure we have these rules for multiplying and dividing integers down. There's a new rule on here that we haven't talked about yet, but we'll talk about it. All right, so when you multiply two integers with the same signs, the product will be
Positive.
positive. When you multiply two integers with different signs, the product will be
Negative.
negative. All right, when you multiply 3 or more integers, the rule is your answer will be positive if you have an even number of negative integers.
So you have 2 of them.
Right? You have to have at least 2, right?
Yeah.
So only if you have an even number. If you have an even number of negative integers, your answer will be positive. If you have an odd number of negative integers, your answer will be negative. So let's say I have 5 numbers being multiplied together. I have -2 times -1 times -5 times 3 times 4, right? If I count up the negatives, I have 3 of them, right? I have 3 negative numbers. That's an odd number of negatives. My answer is going to be negative. But if I change one of these negative numbers to a positive, let's make the 1 positive, right? I now have 2 negative numbers, so my answer is going to be positive. All right, so if I have an even number of negative numbers in my problem, I'm going to have a positive result. If I have an odd number of negative numbers in my problem, I'm going to have a negative result. Hopefully you guys aren't working with too many, that you have 3 or more, but just so you know, that's a good thing to keep in mind. What about division? When you divide 2 integers with the same signs, the quotient or the answer will be
Positive.
positive. When you divide 2 integers with different signs, the quotient will be
Negative.
negative. All right, when 0 is the dividend or the numerator, so when it's like this, 0/5, the answer or the quotient will be what?
Itself.
It will be 0.
Itself.
When 0 is the dividend, when 0 is the numerator, answer is 0.
Okay.
What about when it's the reverse? When 0 is the denominator or the divisor, the quotient will be
Undefined.
Undefined or an error. Perfect. All right. This summarizes this week for us, right? This is what we've learned this week. All right. And I just want to flash up on the screen after this. Want to make sure that what the work you guys have to turn in by the end of today. Some of you already did it, so that's great. But you do have one other thing besides the practice number 1 to turn in by the end of today in order to get full credit for today's 2 periods of class. Remember, for those students who are starting today, on your schedule, you're going to also have a 1 o'clock class. That class is for independent study. It is not something you have to show up for, but in order to get attendance for it, you do have to turn something in. Not necessarily at 1 o'clock, but by the time I do attendance at 7 p.m. So as long as that work is in by 7, you will get credit for that day, all right? So let me flash on the screen your course page.
Mr. G, wait 1 second. Let me take a picture of this.
Oh, I guess I could wait. Sure, it's fine.
Okay, I got it. Thanks.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right. Let me pause this.
How do we get this recording right here?
It'll be uploaded to the drive to your class later on today. Sometimes it takes me longer because it just takes long to get them to convert, but I usually try to get it up by the middle of the afternoon. Okay, so you have two practices, either practice number 2 or practice number 3 that should be turned in today by 7 p.m. to make sure that you get credit for your 1 o'clock class. So if you've already done it, that's great. You don't have to do anything else today then. But practice number 2 is just IXL links. So I've updated my PDF. So when you open up your PDF with Kami or any other way, your links should now work.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to use that little pencil thing like you was just using too?
Yep, exactly.
All right.
So then you can open up your Kami and open up your IXL, make sure you're signed in, right? And then do these exercises in Kami, in IXL. Once you're done, you can just check it off, right? Like I did both of those, and then click the turn in button. And then that lets you know that you've done it, okay?
Hold up, and you said, hold up real quick, and you said go to IXL?
Yep. So here's how you do that, right? So you open up, I'm gonna show you one more time. And this might not have been loaded for you properly on your computer, but when you open up practice number 2, you should have a gray box next to it that says open with Kami. Do you see that gray box?
Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, can you show me this step one more time? Because I just had to enlarge my screen.
Sure, no problem. So are you in Schoology, right?
Yes, I was in IXL. Just give me 1 second. I can go back to Schoology.
Yep, go back to Schoology. So I just want to show you how to get to this assignment to make sure you're turning it in properly.
All right, so
you're in Schoology, in your courses.
All right, so I went to Schoology.
Okay, good. So make sure you click on Math Skills 4.
And courses, right?
Yep, courses, Math Skills 4.
Yeah, I got you.
Week 3.
I got you.
And practice number 2.
Okay, practice number 2, I got you.
Now, when you're in here, this is what might be different for you because it might not be loaded properly, and I'll help you get it loaded properly, but you should have a gray box next to this PDF that says open with Kami. Do you see that?
Yep.
You have it?
Yep.
Good. Click right there, open with Kami. And once it's open, mine is already open, so I'm gonna close it. You need to open twice. You're gonna click on this link, and this link will take you to IXL. Because I have marked up exactly what you guys need to do in IXL in that PDF, okay? So click on both of those links. Once they're done, check them off and click turn in.
Yeah. Which is the one I'm doing right now. I just did it for
right now, that's great. So that's practice number 2. The other option is to do practice number 3, which is the exit ticket, okay? And
Hey, I'm sorry, Mr. G. I'm just opening up Kami for the first time, and it's saying something about I gotta complete the sign up.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and click through to complete the sign up. It really should just be like saying okay and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's saying like, what do you use Kami for? Am I using for personal work, college, university? It's work, right?
Yeah. So make sure it should be for schoolwork. You should say that you're a student and you're using it for schoolwork.
All right, so I'm just put work. All right, work industry, education.
Yep.
Working in K-12 school, no.
All right, and so practice 3 is the other option. Again, you can open up that with Kami, and you have 4 or 5 questions, 4 questions to answer. Excuse me, to answer there. Very straightforward questions. And that you can turn in as well by subbing. Either way, everything else is just due by the end of this week, by Friday, just so you can get your practice in. So make sure you are reviewing and trying to get that work in. And next week, it's already been posted for me, but of course it won't be visible to you until Friday. But next week, let me go back to my home page. Oh, Schoology.
Great.
We're gonna fight. Okay, there it goes. So we're gonna be working on comparing rational numbers next week, October 5th to 7th. That folder is not gonna be visible on your Schoology until Friday. But if you wanna get a jump start, you can look in on Friday and see what that looks like. All right, what questions can I answer for people before I send you on your merry way to enjoy the rest of your Wednesday?
If I need anything, I'll just send you an email.
Yep,
email I understand me. This is my first time, so I might have a little more questions than what
That's fine. Nope,
I'm actually going
fine
through.
with that. Anybody who has questions, always feel free to contact me via email or the Remind app if you're on there. And I'll get the rest of you on the Remind app as well. But yeah, just contact me if you have any questions through Schoology, through email, whatever, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Yeah, I just got one question right now while you on the line. I just got one question.
Yep.
So just practices 3?
2 or 3 for today.
2 or 3 up until Friday?
2 or 3 for today.
Okay, all right, I got you.
Yep. It needs to be done by today at 7 o'clock. Yep.
All right, I got you. Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
Mr. G, you mentioned something about Remind Me. What's Remind Me?
The Remind app.
Uh-huh.
You didn't get an invitation from me to join the Remind app?
Nah, I ain't get that either.
Yeah, well, you guys haven't gotten it because you guys just started this week. But Renee, you should have gotten an email from me to be like, join my Remind app. But I'll send it back out again. But it's just another way to communicate with me.
Right, but here's the other thing. I'm sorry for not interrupting, jumping on it about question. But I think I do have a reminder on it. I don't know if I'm still working or not, but I mean.
Yeah, so you're on the Remind app already with me, Marvin. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just an app. So look in your email. I'll send it back to your email again. Your AOH email. It's just a way for us to be in communication. And why it's important to be on the app is because this app is on my phone. So even when I am not connected to my computer, so there are times where I'm not going to be staring in front of the computer, right? But I will always have my phone with me so that if you need something, you'd be like, oh, Mr. G, I sent you an email. Can you check it? Or, oh, Mr. G wants to answer the number or whatever. And then that'll let me know that I need to get onto my computer to help you with something, right? So that's what the Remind app is.
All righty.
All right.
Excuse me. I didn't get a link for the Remind app either.
You didn't get it either? Okay, I'll send it again to you, Ebony. I don't know why y'all didn't get it. I promise those of you who've been here since week 1, you got it. You got the invitation week 1. And I know that because I got Videra on there day 1. And she was like, oh, okay, this is but I don't know what's going on with the rest of y'all. But yes, I will send that out again.
I might have just missed that email.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. It happens.
We had a whole lot of emails coming in that first week. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what you're saying now because you know you ignored my email. It's okay. That's fine. That's fine. my feelings aren't hurt or anything. It's okay. It's okay. All right, y'all. So thank you for a great class today. I will see you all next week, Monday at 9 o'clock, again for class. Or if you have me for science, you will see me Friday at 11.
Yeah, well, I know I had somebody else on Friday with
yes, they switched up the schedules, Marvin. They switched them up.
Now basically they switched me to Mr. Williams class. At least
yeah, they did.
So putting the money, I know your class.
So how do we know now whose class we have on Friday? They sent it to us?
You still have me.
Thank God.
If that changes, I will let you know, but you still have me.
Okay.
And Ebony, we're gonna get you switched back to me as well. Okay. All right, y'all. Okay. So I will see you all when I see you all. Have a good Wednesday. Stay safe. All right.
Well, see you Monday, Lisa.
See you later.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, be safe out here, man.
All right. Stop this recording.